Oh, man. You already know what it is. It's the one and only 7 Up, live and direct with another story time for y'all. So make sure y'all get y'all pop, y'all drink, y'all water, juice, whatever, y'all chips, y'all popcorn, because this is a crazy story. You're not going to want to miss not a second of this one, y'all. So look, I was in Juvenile. It's the first time I saw a ghost. Yeah. Some of y'all not gonna believe me, but look, let me get into it. I was in Juvenile Center, 17 years old. I had just got sentenced to 13 years in prison. I'm in Madison Correctional Institution. The Juvenile Center is no longer there anymore. It's in Orient, Ohio. But anyways, I'm there at the time, and I'm hearing about this kid that had got unalived back in the days when they had the juveniles mixed with the adults all in one unit back in the days. They telling me about this, from the guards to the other juveniles. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. The story was like this, that the kid got unalived by an Aryan Brotherhood member. Now, for those who not familiar with the Aryan Brotherhood, that's a very known white supremacist gang all around the world, but mostly notoriously known in prison is the Brotherhood. Now, they have a street organization also, but they're called the Aryan Nation. So, but in prison, they're called the Brotherhood. Now, in prison, a lot of Aryan Brotherhood members, they all have life in prison. Like, a lot of them, majority of them. And the Aryan Brotherhood members, they handle business. I'm gonna just put it like that. They don't play. You know what I mean? Those dudes, they play with knives, and they ready, you know what I mean, to send something up like that. I guess this juvenile, this young kid who was in the adult population at the time, I guess had borrowed a magazine. Not just any kind of magazine, but let me see how to put this, like a Pinot magazine. So like a Playboy magazine or something like that, with women who would be naked. Yeah, they have those type of magazines in prison, for those who don't know. Yeah, they do have those type of magazines circulating. But the kid, I guess, had borrowed a magazine from one of the members, and he didn't return it, or when he did return it, it was some pages out of the magazine missing, or something of that manner. And because of that, these guys had stabbed this young kid 15 times until he bled out, and they say he was running around the whole pod screaming out for his life, and no one would help. Just imagine being murdered over a magazine. Oh my gosh. So the story doesn't end there. It gets worse. I know, right? It gets worse, I promise. So they're telling me that this kid that was murdered by this Aryan Brotherhood member, his ghost still roams the juvenile hall. So when they tell me this, I'm like, no way. There's no way. They gotta be fucking with me, right? So about, I want to say like a month or two into my bid here at Madison, I finally witnessed the kid ghost myself, bro. Do you hear me? I finally witnessed it myself. Not from anyone else, not a story, no, with my own two freaking eyes, bro. And lo and behold, just like they said, he does still roam the juvenile. He doesn't cause a threat. He's not a problem. His spirit is still there. And for some reason, he will not leave. And it's crazy because I wonder why. I wonder what makes a person's soul stay, or a person's spirit linger. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of crazy. But so the story doesn't end there though, bro. And I know a lot of y'all not gonna believe me when I say this. But if you know, you know. You know what I mean? And so, long story short, bro, to get to the real crazy part, because that was crazy. But let me get to the real part that was really tripped me out. Now, after I witnessed this kid ghost with my own two eyes, a couple months later, a friend of mine that I had met while I was in juvenile center waiting to get sentenced had came. He had got sentenced. And he joined me on the juvenile center, in the juvenile pod, in prison. Now, we chopping it, doing time. And, that was it. We were just doing time. Now, we would talk every single day. And he also, I'm sure, had knew about this story about the kid ghost, right? Now, this whole time we was in juvenile, my friend, he was not the best financially. Like, it was times where he wouldn't make the store, like commissary. He wouldn't get to go to commissary because he didn't have the money. His family didn't have the money. So, I saw that. And then we turned 18 and we was transferred to another prison. Now, when we got to this prison, it was still the same routine. Skip was not in the best situation financially, him or his family. So it reflected in his time. Like I said, it was times where he couldn't make the store. It was times he didn't have money on the phone, things of that nature. Now, a couple months passed after we turned 18, and all of a sudden, my friend, he comes up on a large sum of money out of nowhere. And I remember it very, very vividly because, like I said, he was just in a position where he was messed up, kind of. You know what I mean? And so when he started making every store day like low end, like he's maxing out at the store. Like if the limit is 200, he's spending 200, not just once a month, like every single time we go to the store, like every week, he's doing 200. He's not only putting money on his phone, but now he's done bought a cell phone. I was low-key scared to say that because I'm like, I don't want to be telling on him, but he's free now. You know what I mean? So it's all good. But yeah, he bought a cell phone. And he got the pack now. Like, he's just like balling out of control in there. Like, for real. Like ounces. And I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But since it's my dude, since we was kids, I pull him to the side one day. You know what I mean? Because in prison, you don't be all up in nobody's business or nothing like that. You mind your own business. You don't ask too many questions to people or nothing like that unless they reveal that stuff to you. But other than that, you pretty much keep the questions to yourself, brother. You know what I mean? But since he was my dude from juvenile, I hollered at him. I pulled him to the side. I said, yo, man, Skip, what where you come up on this money at, bro? And you're never gonna believe what he tells me. He says, I got a settlement check. So I'm like, a settlement? Did you get hurt? He says, no. My father died when he was a juvenile in Madison. He was murdered. And I'm like, what? And he said, yeah. And I said, is this the same boy that got murdered by the Aryan Nation, by the Aryan Brotherhood? And he says, yes. I said, bro, why am I just now finding this out that was your dad, bro? I saw his ghost. And he just thought that, it was hilarious. He thought it was hilarious. Because he never knew his father. His father was a juvenile. His father had him when he was a kid. And unfortunately had to go and do time. He was supposed to be released from prison. But unfortunately, since he was integrated at the time with adults, he never made it home, back to his son. Ain't that something, y'all? And we were both incarcerated in the same unit that his father had passed away on. I just could not believe the odds. I just could not believe the odds of that. How everything had just lined up like that. I'm a firm believer in things happening for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences. So when that happened to me in my life, I looked at that like that was just a sign. I don't know what the sign was, obviously, at the time, but I knew that it was a deeper meaning to all of that, and I just took it and I accepted it. You know what I mean? Because he always would show me things in my life, and it would just be verification. It would just be verification that everything would be okay, and that in due time, he would take care of us. Because whoever would have thought that my friend who was having financial problems while he was doing his prison sentence would ever just get blessed like that. And I mean like thousands. I don't know how much he had got, but the kid had thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? And hopefully, because he didn't have that much time in prison, he only had like 2 years left. When he turned 18, he had like 2 years left. So, God willing, if you're watching this video, you know who you are. And I hope that you did something good with that money. I hope that you're doing well with yourself. And, it's all love, bro. Because, when I was in juvenile, it was so many people that I had ran across. So many people that I ran across doing time from all around Ohio. I know a lot of people from Ohio. A lot of people know me as well. Because like I said, I was incarcerated at such a young age. And I was transferred from prison to prison quite often because of my fake gang ties that they had on me, which is a whole nother story that we will get into later on. But yeah, I had quite of an experience in prison. So this is just one of many, many, many stories. And I hope y'all enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you please like the video. Like, and comment. That's all I need you to do. You know what I mean? Like and comment. 2 easy, free things that you can do for me. And they mean the world to me. So if you rocking with the 7, please like this video so we can keep them in the algorithm and we can stay in rotation with the people, because we need these videos circulating. You know what I mean? We need to share this content. We need to be amongst the rest of everybody else that is making power moves over here on YouTube. You know what I mean? They got to throw us in a conversation. Tell them to put us in a conversation. You know what I mean? We not here for fun. We here for the long haul, y'all. Let them know. So yeah, man, all my 7s in the chat, thank y'all for locking in. Like I said, this is just one of many stories that I got for y'all. I'm going to start pumping these out on a regular. So make sure you stay tuned in. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, this story time today. And until next time, 7 up until we heaven up. The only thing stronger than me and you is us. Ah, man. Yeah.